Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
James sent me a note about a story in people.com. And it's something we've talked about before. Liam Quinn wrote this. A man bought 3 homes for $10 apiece. Why does he face charges for that? Well, anytime you see a horribly disproportionate price for something else is possibly going on. And of course, the guy was allegedly doing a scam. He's also accused now of forgery. And then he sold one of those homes, though, for $82,000. So somebody else got ripped off. So clearly what the guy did is he went and filed the false paperwork with the Register of Deeds saying, I just bought these homes for $10 a piece. They accepted those things for filing because that's what they do. And then he flipped one of the homes and made an $82,000 profit, minus the $10, of course. And then, of course, now somebody's got to go and unwind all of this. The Tennessee man is accused of fraud after authorities allege he conspired to buy 3 homes for $10 each by forging the signatures of homeowners. He's 34 years old, was charged with forgery, according to WREG, WMC, and Fox 13, all citing the Memphis police. WMC reported that in September of last year, a victim filed a police report saying that she was no longer listed as the owner of her home and that documents had been filed containing a forged signature for her. The news outlet further said that in December, investigators received 2 other similar reports, which said that documents had been filed transferring the home to a new owner. So total of 3, each time similar facts. The allegation is that this man and a woman were allegedly caught on camera at the Shelby County Registrar's office filling out the documents, according to WREG. Now, they say they got that story from the police. The man allegedly used a stolen driver's license and social security card to start a fake bank account, the police said, and that's how he handled the $82,000. WMC reported that the documents allegedly listed that the homes had been purchased for $10. Police alleged that the man sold a home valued at $157,000 for $82,000, according to WREG. And that's something that they talk about quite a bit in the field of consumer protection, is if you see somebody selling something for a ridiculously low price or an insanely high price, it's often an indication that something's out of whack in the system. And so a guy who's selling a house for about 50 cents on the dollar should make the buyer wonder about the good, clean title. And likewise, if somebody's selling something for some obscenely high price, that could be somebody trying to rip off the consumer. But another story altogether. The man was charged with theft of property and falsifying documents for illegal transfer of property, in addition to forgery, according to WMC and WREG. Theft of property is an interesting one because we do talk about title theft and home theft and things like that. But of course, theft we often think of as somebody picking up something and carrying it away or taking possession of it. And of course, simply filing these documents won't change possession of the house that woman lives in, for instance, but it does, of course, mess with the title. So People.com says they're not sure if this person has entered a plea or retained an attorney. And meanwhile, the alleged accomplice has not been caught yet. So they say the man is doing this with somebody and she has not been located. Now, here are a couple things to think about. I've talked about this now for several years on this channel, how easy it is for someone to simply walk into a register of deeds with some paper they created at home and say, yes, I just bought this house and I want to file these documents. And they accept them for filing and they file them. They haven't got the time to go over these documents to see if they're legit. They just file them. They accept them for filing. And next thing you know, you discover that somebody else has title to your property. And so there's a bunch of things they should do, a bunch of things they could do, and some of this stuff is coming around. It's coming around. And one of the things that I think would actually make a big dent in this is when somebody comes in to file documents that purport to have to do with property. The Register of Deeds has no idea of this person standing there who says, I've just got these pieces of paper I want to file. I want to file these pieces of paper. They got no idea. But believe it or not, they simply said, oh, okay, by the way, we've got a new rule. Anybody who files anything with this office, stand on that spot. You have the little footprints where people stand, and there should be a camera over here like they've got at the DMV, and they should say, smile, click, take the person's picture. Then they should authorize the person taking the stuff over the counter to administer oaths. And then they should say, raise your right hand. I'm going to ask you to swear and attest that these documents are all authentic and you're authorized to file them. And then you ask them to swear and or affirm in case they claim, I can't swear because it's my religion. So you say, okay, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and affirm under penalty of perjury and so on. And then, because I think what they have here is I think they've got some security camera footage over here. And people nowadays, I think, expect to be on a security camera almost anywhere they go. Okay, that's fine. I think it would actually be one of those sobering moments where somebody walks from the documents because I want to file these. They said, yeah, stand on those 2 footprints there and smile for the camera. And then raise your right hand, swear or affirm, and then check ID. Now, of course, people can get fake ID. I understand that. But they could also get a thumbprint, for instance. Ask for a thumbprint. And, I've seen banks ask for one. So, it wouldn't slow things down that much to add a couple steps here. And now I've talked about this problem now for several years on this channel. And I'm here to tell you that there are some places that have taken steps to make this go away. But the problem is that there's places that have not. And it's, handled at the county level pretty much everywhere I'm familiar with. And it just depends on what that county does. I mean, there are some places that have got stuff really, really automated well, and other places that are like, oh, no, let's do it the same old way. And there's those big old books, and you flip through the books looking at the big drawings of the county, that kind of thing. So this is crazy, but the guy walked in, apparently, to the same Register of Deeds office and said he'd bought 3 homes for $10 each, and somehow it doesn't raise the eyebrows of anybody. And yet, wait, who's selling houses for $10? Now, I understand people right now are typing going, Steve, don't you remember? No, of course I remember that in Detroit, in the housing crash, 07, 08, 09, that little period there were abandoned homes in Detroit and other big cities that were owned by banks who wanted to offload them to the point where they're selling the houses for $1. I remember houses being sold for $1, okay? But most of those homes had been stripped, scrapped, possibly burned to the ground, and were not in good repair, shall we say. And so when somebody comes in and goes, yeah, I just bought 3 homes for $10 a piece, and they can glance at the records really quickly and say, well, somebody's paying the property taxes out there, and the property taxes would indicate the house is worth more than $10. I mean, shouldn't that cause someone to go, that's interesting, But like I said, there's probably even more important things that the county could do to take care of this. But it's a scary concept because this woman finds out this happened to her. And it does talk about the stolen driver's license and the stolen Social Security card. And that, of course, would allow the guy to cash that check for $82,000. And not only are the 3 homeowners victims here, but so is the person who paid $82,000 to buy this house. And it really makes me wonder, was a realtor involved in that transaction? Or was it literally, FSBO, for sale by owner, for $82,000? Because somebody would do the search on this, and this stuff's all online now, and goes, house is worth $157, and they're selling it for $82. What's up with that? So mistakes were also made, I'm suspecting, by people who weren't doing their due diligence. But scary concept, because the one woman found out about it, and now somebody's been arrested. But quite often you hear about somebody finds out about it, they go through a bunch of stuff to get it straightened out, jumping through hoops and whatnot, and then, of course, the person who did it skedaddles into the shadows and disappears. So, James, thanks for sending that. But the man bought 3 homes for $10 each. Why does he face charges? Well, now we know. Liam Quinn wrote that for people.com. Questions or comments? Put them below. Otherwise, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler.